Hey everyone, I got an exciting show for you today because I actually have my co-presenter with me, Tom Staub. How you doing, Tom?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, man. So I just heard you and I are co-presenting next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, which is going to be a lot of fun. San Jose, San Francisco, and Berkeley.
hmm
So that's going to be fun. So what can you tease our audience with what you will be covering next week?
Yeah. So I think, a wild 2019, right? We had a lot of fears of recession, inverted yield curve, I think twice, and all kind of trade wars. And so we'll be highlighting kind of what we saw actually happen in 19, and then we'll also be highlighting some of the upsides and risks going into 2020 for our investors.
Okay. Very cool. And then I understand you are working on an exciting book called Three Sheets, or that may be the kind of working title, but basically the balance sheet, cash flow statement, and income statement, which is a lot of fun as an ex accountant and MBA grad. I know how important those three are. So why don't you tease us with why this is a book idea for you?
Sure. And, I'll take most of the credit, but about 2 years ago or so, Robert Kiyosaki, who we all probably know, he began to talk about this concept of always monitoring your balance sheet, your personal balance sheet this, balance sheet that. And so I began to do that, and then I took it a step further and began to manage my life in a sense of a P&L. And then I took it a step further and I said, well, what does it all really mean? And yes, net worth is great, but it's really just paper numbers.
Yeah.
And what it really comes down to is cash flow. And so as I began to develop the way that I measured my life and set goals and targets and reduce this and increase that, I realized that essentially all I'm doing is running a business, a personal business that is just my finances. And so
Hmm.
as I began to talk with more and more clients, they resonated with this concept, right? And it's just a really simple way to measure your personal wealth. And so taking that a step further, I think, if you're a new company, you have no idea where your revenues are, your cash flow, or your expenses. The first thing you probably want to do before you start buying properties is understand where you're at and
Yeah.
where you want to go.
Yeah. So it's interesting you bring that up. Again, I have an MBA. So these statements are vital for people to understand. And you're so right. Nobody individually talks about them. And kind of through your introduction, you talked about your personal wealth. And I would tell you it's actually slightly different. It's kind of like your financial health, not
Mm,
wealth, right? And I'll talk about these three from my perspective because I think about them a lot. First and foremost, uh, your balance sheet. Most people I speak with quasi understand the balance sheet because they want to talk about their net worth, right? Assets minus liabilities. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that one. Then the next one people kind of get is the income statement. They know how much income they make, right? They kind of look at their checking account at the end of the month and realize how much is there or not there. And they kind of think they're doing income minus expenses. And maybe now because it's tax season, they're getting a little more specific on that. And again, that's kind of the answer. The one that no individuals talk about, the one that is vitally important, the one that kills businesses and kills individual investors is the cash flow statement.
yep.
That is the one that tells you your financial health. You could have, and I knew people that had $10 million or more balance sheets / net worth that got crushed in the last downturn because their cash flow statement was not producing enough cash to meet actual expenses. And once the dominoes started to fall, this BS of a balance sheet proved to be fictitious, and bingo, bango, they're broke.
Yep.
So the fact that you'll be introducing this three sheet concept, the fact that you're going to be bringing it to the individual, I think is outstanding. And I would suggest you talk about it as financial health
Yeah.
because that's really what it is. It's your financial health.
Yeah,
That's
it
kind of
is.
how I look at it.
Yeah, it is. I know. I think you're spot on, right? Well, the first step is the mindset, right?
Yep.
Seeing your financials in that way. And I think this inherently, once you begin to do that, you'll begin to monitor the cash out versus cash in. You also want to be understanding, okay, well, great. where is my cash out going? Is it going into items? I mean, the equation of wealth is actually quite simple. You cash out should be going into things that produce cash in. It's really that simple. And you recycle that process over and over and over, and it compounds, right? And so if you're looking at your cash out, you should be looking at what percentage of that cash going out is going into those income. Really simple, right? Because cash in is great too, but if you're spending it all on your Beamer or, on, French laundry restaurants, you got problems.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. I actually don't know the order of we're opening it up. I'm going to assume you're going first. The next 3 days, again, who knows? But that's going to be fun because what I will be bringing to the table is, how can these busy professionals who have probably decent net worths, probably have decent incomes, how they can take those two. And again, when I say how, it's what we did for 15 years is how we can turn that into assets that produce cash flow on a repeated basis. And oh, by the way, as time goes by, you can leverage those. In our case, a 1031 exchange, but you can do cash out refis and other things to compound that. So I think it's a powerful tag team between the two of us. And I look forward to seeing you again and getting a chance to speak with you again.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Any other thoughts before we kind of wrap this up that people, need to be at? Again, I'll use the image of the event that Bobby sent me as the GIF for this. So again, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, San Jose, San Francisco, and Berkeley. Any kind of closing comments?
Yeah. I mean, every one of these things that we do, these conferences, I always encourage people to, one, come with an intent and leave with an action item. So, don't just come in with a frivolous mindset. Think about what you're trying to achieve and how this can help you achieve that. So
that's cool. Yeah. And I would tell you to come prepared for questions. Both Tom and I, we will have PowerPoints just in case nobody's interactive, but I know answering questions from the audience is often the most fun and entertaining because that's, you're guaranteed to provide value when that happens. So make sure you bring your questions for Tom and I, and we will talk about one rental at a time. We'll talk about 3 sheets. And of course, we will have a lot of fun. Thanks for doing this, man.
You got it. Thank you, guys.
Yep.